Hello, Balmy Badger Army.
Hey, Badger Army!
Welcome to the show. Indeed, we have a hyperactive Nick here with some interesting news and some exciting family news as well that he wants to share as well.
Yes.
So, lots of cool stuff. What are we talking about today, Nicholas?
Hopefully not the fact that I've just unwittingly spelt tea everywhere.
We can touch on that, but people might be bored.
I have a very wet left leg right now.
Ooh, sir.
Yeah, and for all the wrong reasons as well.
Not anything exciting. That's why this show is now 12 plus. Now, moving swiftly on from that, what are we going to talk about today?
Before we do anything else, I should give a quick shout out to my sister Susie and her other half Pete, aka Mr. Icarus. You might remember I interviewed him here on the Badger Show a while back.
And everyone's after more and more and more interviews,
Yep.
and they want Mr. Icarus on the show, and I'm like, I'm going to try, guys. I'm going to try.
Yes, we'll endeavour to try and get him back in.
Trust me,
at some
I would
point.
absolutely adore a Badger and Mr. Icarus collab. If that could happen, that would be fantastic. So we'll try.
Indeed.
I can't promise, but it's work in progress. Right,
Either
okay,
way,
moving swiftly on.
we're giving them a shout out because Susie and Pete welcomed baby Layla into the world on Tuesday.
Ooh, yes.
Many congratulations to them. So a very proud Uncle Nicky here.
Cheers. Indeed. I drank most of my tea already. Anyway, we're waffling on way too much, dear. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, we weren't here last week and so much has happened.
In the news, CoronaVirus has taken over the world again.
Yep. Exactly how different it is from regular flu, which also killed lots of people over the course of the year, remains to be seen. But hey, the media are loving talking about it.
I'm loving it. But anyway.
So we've had that. We had the Brit Awards last week, in which a rapper called Dave slagged off loads of politicians.
Dave?
Yes, that is his name. He is called Dave.
From Dagenham?
Quite possibly. I don't think he's from Dagenham, but yes, possibly the most British-sounding rapper name ever.
Or Dave.
So we've had EastEnders celebrate its 35th anniversary.
Dun, 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 dun,
Which, well, if anyone around you said, I'm going to celebrate my 35th anniversary by putting lots of people I like on a boat and then making the boat sink, you'd be worried about them, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
We should point out. So you might well have seen the story and stuff. Sadly, young Denny Rickman passed away at the end of it. But Badger and I have one student who is utterly obsessed with EastEnders.
Absolutely obsessed.
And so I've kind of gone from not really caring about EastEnders to now really, really hoping that Callum gets found wherever he is.
Wow, let's hope Callum's fine.
Yes.
And of course now we can drip in and drop in that you were actually part of the EastEnders cast a few months ago.
Yes, indeed. You can see the clip from where I was, from where Jack Branning frisked Leo King, R.I.P., out of a courtroom foyer.
Yes.
And after that, we all wanted a turn at being frisked as well.
Ooh,
So, yes, that is up on my Instagram, sounds like.
But yeah, we're going to go more in depth in that in a sec. What else are we going to talk about now?
What else can we talk about? Well...
Caroline
Flack. Of course, it was tragically... Caroline Flack took her own life.
Indeed.
But
we're only doing the bullet points for now. It's so eager. What else are we going to talk about?
We can also, we might mention Harvey Weinstein as well.
That's true.
He said bye-bye to at last.
That's right. Indeed. And of course, we can talk more about Kirk Douglas as well.
Kirk Douglas, we have talked about Kirk Douglas.
We have. But apparently he did, we can touch upon that. Loads and loads of stuff.
Loads of stuff.
Let's talk about it. Right, so let's start off with the coronavirus and our thoughts on it, Nick, quick.
Well, a lot of people are saying to me, they're saying, from what I've heard is, a lot of people don't really understand what coronavirus is. I can understand that there is a bit of worry about it, because particularly because the symptoms are not always immediately obvious, and they aren't always obvious to start with. I mean, it's still something that people are learning about. Overall, I think people are taking the precaution route. We've had places closing and stuff.
That's
which,
right.
to be fair, I can understand.
What I think is insane is people stop buying, Chinese curries and Chinese
Yes.
food. I think that's
Yes.
over the top.
And there's this one awful story. Apparently, a Chinese person was choking and no one gave him CPR.
Wow,
You
that's
know,
terrible.
That's ridiculous. You know, to start off with, you know, let's start off with, you know, this is not an excuse to treat East Asians poorly.
That's
You
terrible.
know,
That's terrible.
it is not an excuse for that at all.
Because it's veering onto racism, isn't it?
Yes, you know, and I dare say we've had enough of that with kind of like the worst sides of Brexit. But,
Exactly, yeah.
it's-
Brexit power.
But but yeah, so you know, it's the important thing is don't make assumptions.
That's right.
You know, and I think and you know, I know the media are jumping on it and stuff like that. One person actually made a valid point on one of the Facebook groups that I'm on, saying, you know, regular flu kills goodness knows how many people every year.
Exactly. Let's
you
not
know?
go over the top.
So you know, if you're going to start being worried about the coronavirus, you probably need to start being worried about flu as well.
Exactly, or
Flu
about any sorts of
viruses.
things. Yeah, I know. Just
Exactly.
be careful with yourself and look after yourself, and take the precautions that the NHS or relevant governing medical body give you.
Yes.
Indeed. Right, but that's enough misery. Let's talk about something else, like Caroline Flack. Oh dear, that's miserable
that's
too.
a bit miserable as well. The thing,
Indeed.
I'm going to say this for Caroline Flack. A lot of people will be like, she died because of this. She died because of this. You know, but
That's right.
ultimately, it's one of those scenarios where there are several factors
That's right.
at hand, and a lot of those factors will try passing the buck, but at the end of the day, there's a degree of responsibility from them all about that. Interestingly, at least one tabloid newspaper has been found. I can see what you're doing. At least one of the right. I'm going to pause this for a second. Badger is trying to pull some stuff out, but he doesn't know how to use my flask.
I've managed it now. Thank you.
He has managed it now, and I suppose. Right. As I was saying, at least one tabloid newspaper has started deleting the articles that they were posting. About
Really?
Caroline
Oh,
Flack.
what, on social media?
For those of you not, on their website. For those of you not in the know, Caroline Flack, TV presenter, she was charged with abusing her boyfriend,
That's right.
attacking him.
Yes.
The boyfriend did not want to press charges, but charges were pressed against her. She was due to face trial at the beginning of March, and on the 15th of February, she was found hanged in her flat.
Wow.
It's
horrible news, isn't it? It's horrible news.
You know,
I mean, I would say, just going on rewinding back, you've got all the stuff that happened to her, 10 years ago now as well, with the pop star, and she was dating the younger man and all that sort of stuff as well.
So, I mean, you know, she's been in the spotlight for a long time. She was obviously best known as hosting Love Island.
That's right.
Which she stepped down from. There's kind of debate, did ITV sack her or anything like that? You know, did they support her well enough?
Exactly, yeah, which is a legal landmine.
Yes,
but
so
also didn't the person on the phone to her at the time when she was like, "I'm really worried about this," didn't they say to her, you know, stop being so fickle or don't be silly about it all? You know, that is not the right advice to give someone when they're near the end of their tether.
You know, and that's the whole kind of like we need to look at how we treat people we know with mental illnesses.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I'm guessing, I don't know full well, but I'm guessing, you know, whatever was going on with her must have really stressed her out, and there must have been symptoms of mental health issues there.
And there was also the fact that the Crown Prosecution Service didn't grant her access to her boyfriend.
Wow.
You know,
even though he said he didn't want to press charges. So
exactly.
You know, he obviously loves her and things like that still, maybe, I'm not too
There's
sure.
Also
but,
talk, there's also talk, sorry to interrupt, whether were the CPS trying to make an example of her?
Right, okay.
Were they trying, was it to show that women can be charged with domestic violence as well?
Yes.
Trying to break the mold here. And even though her boyfriend said he did not want to press charges, the Crown Prosecution Service did.
Yeah, so they were literally, you feel that they were trying to do it on purpose, like to prove a point almost.
Yes, the CPS were at fault, the media were at fault, ITV were perhaps at fault as well.
Wow.
So there's so much. It's just so complicated. You know, we can't blame one thing in particular. But I think we've all got to start looking at ourselves and
Right.
say, what can we do to stop this happening again before another life is lost like that?
Well, exactly. Obviously, joking aside, on my comedy news episode the other day, Noobcraft has said that I was doing it as depression news. So as a joke on there and sort of a serious note as well, I flashed up the anxiety numbers and all these sorts of things as a comical note and as a help as well. So I think that is part of it. I'm getting there. That is part of it, is that you need to actually inform people of these numbers and do it in a discreet way. People might not want to talk to you about these things. They might not want to talk about it with their close friends. They might well do so, but if they don't, they need these numbers, and then sometimes people benefit from random strangers not connected in with their problems helping them. So use the numbers, use the help, and use it wisely. Indeed.
Absolutely.
So that's how you can partly stop it, is always be gentle and always be kind and not being funny. I know it's hard, but sometimes when people are complete arseholes, it means they've had a bad day, So you have to go into these things with understanding. Even people you don't like, even people you don't understand, if they're having a bad time, if they're not very responsive, if they're not in a good mood, think about why and just try and help. Even if it's the tiniest little thing you can do. Make a new friend. Help. And that's about as much misery I've got for now. What next, Nick?
What can we talk about next?
Harvey Weinstein, you said.
Harvey Weinstein was jailed earlier this week for sexual assaults and stuff. Well, did that come out badly?
Well, no, it's just because it's like, this has been the misery show.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Mind you, the fact that he has been jailed is a good thing.
Okay.
It is a good.
Tell me more about it, because I don't really know much about it, to be fair.
Well, there were a hell of a lot of allegations made against him. I think a lot of those he wasn't necessarily tried for. I think probably on basis of lack of evidence. But he was found guilty of 2 sexual assaults against young actresses.
Wow. Okay.
Apparently he told one of them, "This is how you get into the industry."
Wow, that's like something from the 1950s. Real sort of.
Maybe it was the 1950s that he did it. He looks old enough.
Wow.
But the thing is, I mean, I actually remember one former personal trainer of mine actually started asking me questions about this. He was like, "You're in the industry, talk about this," and I wasn't able to give him a good proper answer at the time. But the one thing I will say is, in recent years, people in the media industry have become more accessible.
Right, okay.
There's the whole idea of, it's less of an enigma now,
right,
how you get into the film industry.
Exactly,
you can find out more information. The information is very widely available. A lot of casting is maybe not done online, but started online or applied for online.
I'm sure you'll put the links in a comment later on.
And I'm sure, and a lot of, the whole process behind getting cast in films and things like that is a lot more laid bare and more known about now. The allegations,
with the invention of the internet and things like that.
The allegations against Harvey Weinstein were mainly done back in previous decades, when there was less of that.
Right.
And film directors and stuff were these distant, inaccessible people. And actually trying to, and they had, they kind of had a bit of a monopoly on getting people in films, and to a large extent they were, maybe even to some extent unaccountable.
Really?
For the actions that they did. So that
I'm going to be the elephant in the room here and obviously say people like Jimmy Savile and things like that, because they were untouchable, then were able to get away with whatever the hell they wanted.
Indeed.
Gary Glitter, etc., etc.
Indeed, and you think about, the way that's changed now, and the reason all these things came out when they did was because victims found it easier to find each other. They found more outlets where they can talk about their experiences, and there are people interested in, not even necessarily ruining people for no apparent reason, finding out more about certain people. You know, bear in mind, when a lot of these things were done, you know, you didn't have things like Wikipedia. You couldn't look up all the information you'd need to know on a famous person.
No, it's just very true. You can't, can you? And but now you can with the invention of the internet. And the thing is, this is why you've got to be so careful. And this is why talking about J Station and things like that really interests me, because he's a complete plonker and he doesn't even realise that YouTube and reality are separate.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember my old media studies teacher at
Aren't
school
separate, I should mean.
saying,
you know
saying, you know, you can't film reality. You know, it's you know, that's why I think the whole reality TV thing is a contradiction in terms, because it's sort of like a representation of reality.
Big Brother.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, those, you know, they present, everyone on it is presented in a certain way. I dare say, you know, we are presenting ourselves on here in a certain way.
Most definitely.
You know, there's a whole side. You know, there's. I mean, I like to think we don't have any dirty secrets, but you know, there's other sides to us that we have. You know, I mean, today we've been at our place of work. I'm doing filming later, hopefully, and you know, there's a lot. You know, that's the reality.
That's
the
reality
and
of
that's
it.
not what you can
And
capture
I'm
on
sure
tape.
Nick won't mind me saying, but he got really upset that you dropped that piece of coffee.
Yes,
he really upset. He even screamed and sort of grabbed his head and everything. Bless him.
I'm so glad my mum didn't hear that. But yes, in the heat of the moment, yes.
So yeah, there is always things that you don't see.
I'm too autistic for spilt tea.
Exactly. There's all these sorts of things that happen that you don't see, and probably for good reason. Especially, no one wants to see Nick cry over spilt milk. Trust me. Wasn't fun. But anyway, moving swiftly on, we're going to talk about EastEnders, Nick.
EastEnders. Yes, as I said earlier, Badger and I have a student who is obsessed with EastEnders.
Most definitely.
And we've gone from not caring about EastEnders to really, really, really hoping that Callum gets found wherever the hell he is.
On the boat.
What happens if he's not going to get found? He wasn't on the boat. What happens if he's not going to get found?
I don't know, Nick. I don't know.
Although one interesting thing that I will say about EastEnders is they're actually introducing a deaf character soon.
Okay.
And it ties in with Ben Mitchell, who, after falling off the boat.
Did he?
Yes, he fell off the boat while fighting with Keanu.
Reeves?
And no, not Reeves. Taylor. Decidedly less impressive. So he actually has had his hearing affected.
Okay.
So they're going to be looking at a whole storyline about that, which is a really good example of a soap like EastEnders, even though it is full of misery. It actually tries looking at it. It actually tries, you know, to incorporate different elements of society.
This is it.
You
This
know?
is it. I must admit, I do miss the days when EastEnders were more comical with Barry and
Was
Nigel.
it ever more comical?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, with Barry and Nigel. Look them up. It was hilarious.
Okay. Well, you never know. They might rediscover that at some point.
I hope so. Yeah, it used to be quite funny.
It was kind of. I always thought it was a lot more miserable compared to Coronation Street.
You're probably right, but yeah, there used to actually be like comedy characters in there, like Barry and Nigel, and I suppose in a certain way, .com was a comedy character, you know, with a fag and the ooh type stuff.
You're just gonna have to wait for all the characters to get a lot older, and they turn into these quirky old
Beans.
Quirky old beans. Yes,
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Phil Mitchell's getting on a bit. So.
He is a bit, indeed. Steve McFadden, indeed,
Yeah.
yes. But anyway, I would like to say thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a real hoot. This is the first in the new series of On the Bench. Obviously, we had our break last week, and we feel much refreshed and delighted to be back, I'm sure. But yeah, it's been loads of fun catching up with Nick, and of course, big shout out to him for his new niece.
Yay!
Indeed, and lots of good news other than that. We apologise that this has been quite miserable, I suppose, as an episode, but there we go. More comedy news coming up soon. Nick will be appearing in some of the episodes. Unfortunately, the episode we filmed before was a train wreck because we filmed it on the bus. So Nick will be joining us at some point on comedy news as well as a roving reporter. He's going to talk about some local stuff for us as well. And I'll be probably roasting J Station at the weekend and several other silly YouTubers. But yes, thank you very much for watching, guys. This has been lots of fun. If you want to see anything different on comedy news, or of course on the bench, there should have been a comma there maybe.
Yep.
I would suggest you write about it in the comments, which was lovely indeed. And a big shout out to, of course, Gunnar, the lovely Morgan, of course the fantastically brilliant Geek, and of course the rest of you guys who donate to the show. You're awesome, and thank you very much. You're excellent. And a big shout out to Gunnar and everyone else. You guys are epic. Thank you very much for the help and the love towards the show. Big thank you to Cyan, Viper and everyone else for their continuing support. Thank you very much. Without your donations, without your help, these shows would not exist. So thank you very much. If you'd like to donate, no doubt the bits and pieces are in the description. I'm waffling on too much. Thank you very much, Nick. See you guys next time.
You're welcome. I should point out, these are really good reactor lenses. I'm not actually in disguise.
He is. Transformers, robots in disguises.
I'm not a robot, but hey. Any good excuse to sing the old Transformers theme.
Thank you very much, Nick. See you later. Ta-ra!